Hey y'all, and we're back for this episode of Midweek Faith. We have a super full moon in Gemini upon us on December 4th at around 6 p.m. Eastern time. So that will be between 2 and 3, somewhere in there if you're in California, Arizona, or something like that. Because this super full moon is in Gemini, there are a few things that we should talk about. So, this is a reminder for you that without communication, nothing will ever work. Okay? Gemini reminds us about communication, expression, and really taking control over your life and realizing that your power is all in your hands. Okay? Just remember, we are in December, so this is not a time to start any new projects. It's not a time to dive in the deep end of things. It's really a time to wrap up loose ends, collect all your data, put it together, okay? And maybe bring things full circle. This is a big energy of bringing things full circle, completion. We are also in 2025, and it's a number 9 year, and 9 is it signifies full circles, endings, new beginnings. So my question for you is, because it's a full moon and we know that full moons are about release, what are you releasing this full moon? And how are you planning to make changes to align with this release? Just a gentle reminder, we can release all we want on paper and we can do all the rituals, but if we really don't surrender and let go, have we done anything at all? And that's just something for you to think about. So we are going to be talking about the guidance that we are suggesting to our earth signs during this full moon in Gemini. And actually the energy to pretty much carry you into the new year, right? Because this is our last full moon of the year. So for our earth signs, we will have Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo. And what are we asking, showing, or telling our earth signs today? We are telling our earth signs that, you know, you may have lots of options, okay? There might be lots of choices, multiple possibilities, opportunities picking up, decision making, but you have to remember that it's really important that you do forward planning. Okay, it's really important that you move forward and stop staying stuck where you are now, where you are now or where you were then. It's really important to be here now. You need to practice the mindfulness of being present, earth signs, because what's happening is that you're so not present that you're not even realizing the being able to walk unscathed through a situation and just unharmed, and really everything was set up for you to fail, but you still ended up on top. And if you don't start valuing that, what's going to happen is like you're going to really start to feel bad. You're going to really start to feel down on yourself. And it's really important that you stop and reflect, pause in your journey, and understand that like the wins are the wins of fortune. They're not the wins of catastrophe like you may feel. Okay, earth signs. And in the midst of all this, it's also really important that you maintain your stability, your structure, all the things that make you you, and be disciplined in the act of loving yourself, caring for yourself, maintaining that clarity so that the clarity can illuminate your path, so that you can see so clearly that no one can tell you different from what you can see, right? Because you are the phoenix rising from the ashes, right? You need to let your passion guide you, and also unveil the hidden wonders within you. The shadowy depths. Like, let's not be afraid to get deep, earth signs, okay? And in doing that, we need to plan wisely. We need to cultivate success through, research and strategic planning, and, your foresight, okay? Because you have a lot of blessing coming to you in the form of financial gain, okay? Success, achievement, accomplishment, maybe travel, completion. I mean, you have a lot of success coming to you, but you also have maybe some blocked or repressed emotions that are not allowing you to fully tap in. So remember to celebrate. Remember to enjoy yourself. Remember that change is beautiful, Earth sign, okay? And remember that by staying open-minded, you receive the hidden truths and the messages that are really specifically for you. You think that you're in a lack, but really it's all in your mind. But really, this is about you navigating through the eclipse and understanding that, you know, you can't be so cynical all the time. And you have to await the revelation. You have to stand strong, you know, shielding yourself and finding strength in your preservation, guarding what really matters to you. Because there are calm waters ahead, right? Healing, progress, moving on, moving forward, and things really settling down. And if you don't ground yourself, it will be hard for you to really be present like you're not right now in what's actually happening. So Earth signs, check into yourself, check into the moment, check into the abundance that is already within your life. Remember, you are a winner. Remember, you need to change your mind about your life. Okay, Earth signs, you need to change your mind. Next, we will have our water signs. And for our water signs, we will have Cancer, Pisces, and Scorpio. And what are we guiding or showing our water signs in the moment? Okay, we are showing our water signs that you might be feeling sad. You might be feeling a little bit down and out, water signs. If you are, just know that this is a moment of clarity for you. This is a moment for you to, you know, really elevate and escalate. It's really a moment for you to stay aligned and stay true and authentic to who you are, really trusting in the universe, trusting in your inner wisdom, trusting in that third eye, okay? Because karma is real, and based on how you've been living your life is exactly what you're going to receive. And for a lot of my water signs, I think there's a lot of hope and recognition and inspiration happening, okay? So just remember, like, you know, there's no self-doubt, there's no weakness, there's no, you know, low self-esteem, okay? So we are operating in abundance. We are operating in understanding that, you know, things are within our control. We have success on our side, okay? And there are new beginnings ahead of us. Okay, but this is not a time for overindulgence. So water signs, watch what you say, watch who you're talking to. You know, if you don't have a social life, maybe it's time to be a little social. Okay, you might have some decisions to make, but you really need to remember that, you know, you are being set up for success here. There is a sense of you actually understanding what is going on, and you need to make the best of every situation. Okay, you need to be aware. You need to commit to the next stage in your life and really take it head on. Okay, because victory will be yours and you will find what you're actually looking for. But it's really important that you are not being restricted or restrictive of yourself or others. Okay, water signs, it's really important that there's love, kindness, and intuition, and, you know, sensitive, thoughtful energy in your life. Okay, and that is for you to give and also receive, right? Okay, so there might be some tides of transition. You might be going through some changes. If you need help, get advice, water sign. Don't be afraid to ask for help, okay? And make all the changes you need to make. Putting things together piece by piece will get you the bigger picture. And just remember, you need to find strength in your healing, okay? Because every step forward renews and, you know, paves the way for you to create a grander outcome, right? So it's like a minor setback for a setup for a major setup, right? For major success. So victory is here, overcoming your obstacles. Okay, obstacleness. But it's really important that you're not one of those people that sacrifices themselves unnecessarily for others. We're releasing all of our fear and we're getting out of our own way. Okay, celebrate your achievements, water signs. And you know, you also need to understand that at the end of the day, we cannot resist the changes. We cannot avoid the tragedies or delay the inevitable, right? But we need to seize the opportunities. We need to let go of regret and just move forward. Okay, water signs, it's really time to move forward. So for our fire signs, we will have Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. And for our fire signs, what are we showing or guiding them to during this full moon in Gemini? We are telling our fire signs that it is really about time that you stop hiding. It's really about that time that, you know, we know that you're frustrated. We know that you might be questioning a few things, but we also need to know how big your faith is. We need to know how big your God is. We need you to realize that this is a time of breakthrough, that this is a time of success. Okay. And it's really all about how you look at it. Okay. But you have to stop and reflect. At the end of the day, you need to remember who you are, fire sign, where you come from, and what your story is. Because if you don't tell it, someone else will tell it for you. And at the end of the day, you have a lot of good luck. You end up in a lot of good situations with good people that end up turning out well. But at the end of the day, fire signs, it's really about, you know, you maintaining a proper energy, you making sure you're not too arrogant and you don't have this sense of recklessness that you may tend to carry with you sometimes. Okay. It's also a time for like really spending time with your family, your loved ones, you know, going back home or coming home, you know, community in general. Okay. And that doesn't mean necessarily out and about and in the streets, but what that really means is soul-filled connections. Okay. Because you might have been feeling or be feeling like there's a lot of judgment or like self-evaluation going on. Maybe you're judging yourself, but really like it's a sense of renewal, right? You're going through things with a fine-tooth comb so that you can figure out what you like, what you don't like. And it's in perfect time for this full moon. But remember that we do a lot of talking with our fire signs about letting go and moving forward. And at the end of the day, I think the reason why we have a lot of these conversations is because there's a little bit of a lack of balance here between, you know, how you manage things and how you balance your life. And I think a lot of times it can go from one extreme to the other. And a lot of times you can find that you're kind of just going with the flow, or you're just going with things. But truthfully, it's really important to choose wisely so that you can reignite that creation and creativity that you have within you. You know, you don't really have trouble with change, but at the same time, you might have trouble not being in control of the change. And so at the end of the day, that might be creating some conflict for you, fire sign. But remember that, you know, it's really about you making choices and decisions. Once you can make proper choices and decisions about the direction you want things to go, it becomes a little easier when it comes time to make the decisions of what it will be affected by what needs to stay and go, if that makes sense. Okay. You might be feeling a little lonely also, fire signs, and not lonely on the outside, but lonely on the inside, like on the heart. But really that might be you being restrictive of yourself because of fear. So at the end of the day, what am I really saying to you? I am saying that this is about you being honest. This is about you coming forward, being transparent, and understanding that, you know, you have all the options that you could possibly want, but you really need to give yourself a chance to truly follow your heart, fire signs. And I can't ask you that enough. It's really important that you be authentic to who you are, what your wants are, what your needs are, and go after whatever it is that you desire. For our air signs, we will have Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra. And for our air signs, what are we guiding them toward or telling them during this full moon in Gemini? We are telling our air signs that you need to manifest and lean into the new things in your life, okay? Let's stay away from the gossip, the lies, the bias, the people that kind of like, you know, put you into a bad mood, and let's really see the gate of opportunities. Let's pass through that door and let's really lean into it. Okay, it's really a time that instead of escaping from everything that we've built and we've done, that we find balance, peace, and patience in exactly where we are in our lives, because I think discontentment can look very different for everyone, air signs, but I really think that it's important that you count those blessings, because you need to remember where you were and where you are now. And at the end of the day, we can release, like I said earlier, but is it really releasing when you are kind of holding on a little bit? And this will be a little bit different than what I was referring to earlier. I think in this case, it's more giving, we can't let go of the past. And we can't let go of the past in a way that kind of like holds us there. And I don't know if it's exactly like your old personality or who you used to be or what you used to have, but it's time to let go. It's time to really lean into the life that you've built, lean into what you have, lean into how God has blessed you, and understand, you know, where you are. We are in a season for everyone to celebrate, to wrap things up, right? Peaceful resolutions, right? So it's a great time, air sign, to make plans, right? To chart your course with intention. And also just remember that, you know, sorrow heals. Okay, when you bring things out into the open, when you communicate about them, when you get vulnerable and transparent, that is power, and that is magic, and that is healing, that is alchemy. So don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to release the chains of the past and really dance in the rhythm of possibility, because air sign, it's here for you. It's here to carry you through. The air is here to carry you through. Okay. But just remember that it's really important that you release, that you let go during this full moon. You know, if you find that you are frustrated about anything or you're questioning your faith, air sign, please don't. Understand that it is through community and the way you set your life up that you are reminded of how blessed you actually really are. Okay, so if you are having trouble seeing your blessings, it's probably a matter of lifestyle change, food change, daily life changes. The smallest thing can change the trajectory of how you live your life. Okay, and it can really change how you feel inside. No over talking. Although Gemini is Mercury, please don't over talk it. You need to talk and listen in balance so that you can receive the abundance and the blessings that are here for you. Okay, just a gentle reminder, this is the last full moon of the year. Please maximize it. Please take it to your advantage. Take the energy in, absorb it. Reflect on it, think about the year that you've had, and, you know, start your new year fresh with, you know, your authentic self, but maybe a new style of doing things. So yes, that will be the end of our video. I hope you found it helpful. I hope you have a good super full moon in Gemini, and I hope that you manifest your wildest dreams. I love you so, so much, and I'll see you next time. Mwah. Bye.